Hello and welcome to episode 248 of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is October 14th, 2024. And today I'm wearing a nice scarf on top of my new pullover. But I'll first talk about the scarf. It's knit out of merino yarn that Hansa Farm used to sell. They don't do anymore. I'm really sad about that. The colorway is called Deep Ocean, and they still have the same colorway on their alpaca yarn. So this, as I said, is my absolute favorite colorway. It's a mix of dark blue and dark green, and I really love the color. And the project is called My Own Brioche Scarf. And the reason I called it that is that the first time I knit a scarf like this, I knitted it for my son out of black merino yarn. And that was the first scarf that I knit with this number of stitches, which I think was 50 stitches. And then I knit just normal brioche pattern, but with an I-cord at the edge. So sometimes when you knit brioche, it's sometimes difficult to get a nice edge, and the first and last stitch can sometimes look a bit weird. But if you do an I-cord with the first or last 3 stitches, it's a really nice edge. And my son loved his scarf. I think it's his favorite accessory, and he wears it all the time, unless it's too warm. And so I thought, this seems to be a nice thing. I want one for myself, and I knit this for myself. And then I think 1 or 2 years ago, I knit one for my husband, but I used the DK sock yarn. So with more than one color, it was some brown, off-white mix that he really likes. So we all have a brioche scarf like this now. And I knit it, I think that was interesting. I started in October 2017, but I finished it in May 2018. So I knit more than half a year on this scarf. It's not that much knitting, but I got bored very quickly with the one color and the same thing over and over. But finally I finished it, and now I can wear it. And I thought it goes nicely with this pullover. And because the pullover is so colorful, I wanted something simple to go with it. And this is my Lanatus pullover. I am so happy with it. Now that I've washed it, and I slightly blocked it. So all I did is slightly block the sleeves to be a little bit wider. Otherwise, for the front and back, I just laid it down flat to dry. But after washing it, the stitches are so much more even, and the pattern looks even nicer than before. I really liked it while I was knitting it and after I had knitted, but now I think it's just perfect. I'm happy with the length of the pullover. It's not a very long one, but that's what I like to wear. And if I get cold, I can always put on a Mamaki or a skirt or something, or just wrap a blanket around myself. But yeah, really happy with the way this looks. This is definitely this won't be the last colorwork pullover that I knit for myself. But first I will probably have to get rid of some pullovers before I'm allowed to knit more for myself. But yeah, at some point, I will get rid of some old pullovers, or a pullover might die, we'll see. And then I can knit another colorwork pullover for myself. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. Then on to finished objects. I have 2 finished objects and only 1 new cast on. If I can only keep that up, that would be fantastic. We'll see. Now, the older of the 2 finished objects are the socks for my nephew. These are Shorty socks from a magazine by Opal. And the funny thing about those socks are the neon stripes that I did at the beginning of the sock, around the heel and round the toe. So I used this neon orange. So it's not very in your eye. It's rather subtle, but I still like the fact that it's there. The ribbing is an unusual pattern that was in the magazine. And one funny fact is that they are almost exactly the same. And if you know me, you know it wasn't intentional. When I finished the first sock, I just started knitting the second, and I just happened to be at almost the exact same spot in the color repeat. You can tell in the heel that it's not exactly the same. So there's a little more white here than here. Here's a little more orange, and also in the toe. So they look almost the same, but then this toe ends on white and this ends on the orange or light brown or whatever. So that's quite funny. But I think when he wears them, they will almost look the same. This was the tiger colorway in the Rainforest series this year. And now the socks are finished, so it's a finished object, but the project itself is not done because I want to knit another pair in the same pattern, but with a different colorway and a different neon color for his girlfriend. So I will have to start them this week. So this is going to be my new project. No, it's not a new project. It's just a continuation of this project. Yeah, I'll start them this week, and then I'll see whether I can stick with that as the only new thing or whether I will actually start a new project. We'll see about that. But the other thing that I finished is the square for Viva Vittoria, for this organization who make these big events in cities where they create blankets out of 4 squares, and they talk about violence against women, and they sell the blankets to donate the money to help women who were victims of violence. I used Opal 8-ply sock yarn, and I had a 150 gram ball of yarn to start with. I started with this smallest strip of knitting. I knit until it was 50 centimeters long. Then I cast off the stitches. I picked up stitches on one of the sides, and then I knit with the same yarn, but the stripes look completely different because I had a different number of stitches. And then when I ran out of yarn, I used some leftover 8-ply yarn that I had from an old pullover of mine, and I finished the square with this color. And then the last step with every square that you knit or crochet and want to donate to Viva Vittoria, you're supposed to just put something on the square to show that it was made by you. It doesn't have to have your name on it. It could just be a crochet flower where you put the same flower on all your squares, or you could just put a piece of yarn on it, or a button. You can use the same button. That's what my friend Heike does. She puts the same button on all her squares. But I put my name because I do have those labels. I hardly ever use them, and this is a fun way to use them. So I sewed this on, and now the square is complete. It can go into the bag with all the other ones that I've already gotten from other people, and then at some point I will either send them off or a friend of mine will take them to Kassel. So that's the finished objects for today. And in order to continue with my socks, I will actually go straight into my new project because I did not knit on the surprise Sockalong socks by Stephen West. I did not pick up the Bellflower sock, which was a bonus pattern from this year's Sock Madness. So the new sock that I'm knitting is actually the only sock that I am showing as a work in progress. And I started the sock with this yarn. So it's a new 6-ply sock yarn series by Opal. It's called Festival, and the colors are very colorful. So most of Opal's yarns are very colorful, but some series are a little more subdued. Some are more variegated. Some stick to one color family. So they're very different. But this one is a very lively series, which I think goes well with the name Festival. So this is sort of one of the men's colors. Everybody can use them. Anyway, I decided to use this color for his socks. So I finally started this year's sock couple. I knit a pair for him and a pair for her every year to give as Christmas presents, and so I've started his socks with this colorway, and I'm going to use this colorway for her socks. So very they're not too bright but quite colorful, and then another I think the brightest color in this series is this colorway with lots of orange but many other colors as well. Then there's this beautiful pink colorway with some green in it, which I think looks a lot like flowers. And then there's another colorway with a little brown, some blue and some purple. And then we have a colorway with some turquoise and purple, but also some green. And I think all the colors, all the colorways also have some white in them, so they look a little lighter than some other series by MKal. This, of course, is my favorite color in this series. So beautiful blue and turquoise, some gray, a little white and a little beige, but it's not too much. I still like it. And then we have this colorway, which has been very popular to my surprise. It's not really my favorite colors. The kind of green that's in here is not my favorite green, but I like the mix of the green and the dark red and a little white and also some blue and some gray. And this was very popular in my shop. So these are the new 6-ply colorway, 6-ply colors by MKal this year. And this is the color that I started knitting, and this is what I have so far. So I've done some the ribbing in a knit 1 per 1 pattern, and then I'm going to do the rest of the sock in a knit 3 per 1 pattern. So very simple. This is what it looks like on the inside. I like the way the colors come out in the sock. And I'm looking forward to getting on with this, with my first sock this year. Yeah, that's it about socks. The next project, I did not knit on the brioche, 2-color brioche hat, and I did not continue on the gloves, the cat gloves, but I continued knitting on the baby surprise jacket. So this has grown quite a bit. It actually does have some stripes now, not like very clear and proper stripes. In case you don't know how the baby surprise jacket works, this is how I'm going to fold it later on. And I have finished the sleeves now, and I have the upper back, but now I'm knitting the upper fronts and the lower front and the lower back all at the same time. And these bits where I did the decreases, you have sort of the change of knitting direction. So this was knit like this and this was knit like that, and it kind of shows, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't show it more clearly. My sister and I think we're now at the same spot. Maybe she's already continued a little further, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm really happy with how this is coming along. Still love the colors. This is another rainforest colorway. It's the parrot, and enjoy knitting this a lot. And the next sock yarn or sock weight project is another very colorful one, but that's not because of the yarn, but it's because I'm using 6 different colors, and it's the Halloween Mystery Knit Along by Tellybean Knits, and it's the Witch's Brew Cowl. And the last clue dropped yesterday, but I haven't finished knitting yet. I finished clue 12, which was from Saturday. Excuse me. I finished that yesterday, so I hope to finish the knitting today, and then next week I can show you the finished cowl. I won't wash it this week, so I can show it to you finished but not washed, and then I'll wash it and wear it in 2 weeks' time. In case you don't want to see it, look away now. I'm showing it now. Last week I showed you, I think, the first 6 clues. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then clue 6 was just the beginning of this motif. And because of these stitches here, I was pretty sure what this was going to be. And I was quite right. This is the little companion to the witch. And then the next clue was looking up and enjoying the view here. And then we had another partial clue. And then this was the second half. We had these sort of potion bottles and these things to tell the future. Not quite sure what they're called actually. And then we had the not second to last, third to last clue. It was only just this bit. And then the second to last clue finished this motif. And this is very colorful with my color choices. But that's the thing about doing a mystery knit along with different colors. You never know what's going to happen. So I don't think I would have chosen a different color if I'd known it was coming. Or maybe I would have. But I think if I was to knit this again and I had to choose colors, I would really take a long time figuring out which colors to use. Or maybe I would just use different colors for every motif. I don't know. Anyway, I'm really happy with this, how this is coming together. I'm very happy with the contrast I am getting in all of those, with all of those motifs. And now all I need to do is add the last clue to the cowl, and then I can cast off and I can sort of see the whole size of it. And I did knit very loosely because I usually go down a needle size for color work. I did that with the pullover. Actually, for the pullover, I did not go up a needle size for the 2 rows between the color work. With this, I should have gone down a needle size for the color work, and I forgot to do that. So it's knit very loosely, but because this is a cowl and not a pullover or a cardigan, I don't really mind. I think it's going to be fine. It does look a bit uneven now because of knitting so loosely, but I'm pretty sure it'll look beautiful once it's washed. Okay, not showing anything anymore. So that's the mystery knit along by Stephanie Lotvin, known as Telly B Knits, and very happy with how this is coming along. Then on to garments. I added a few rounds to my Mamaki dress, a pattern by Nicola Susan, and it's growing. I think I only added 8 rounds because the rounds do take quite a bit of time. Like this, the front and back actually look longer than the sleeves, but when I'm wearing it and it's I'm inside it, the sleeves and the front and back are almost the same length now, so it's longer than a normal pullover that I would knit for myself. It's sort of growing into a tunic range. It's still quite short to be called a dress, but I still have a bit of yarn, so maybe I will get into mini dress region, but maybe it's just going to be a tunic. Question is just whether it's a longer tunic or a shorter one. I don't know, but I'm happy I got some knitting done on that. And the other garment that I actually knit on is the Vinahop. I did not knit on the skirt, which is probably the only other garment that I'm knitting at the moment, but for the Vinahop pullover, I stopped knitting on the front and back when I finished the ball that I was using, and I've got a long cord in it so I can try it on every now and then. I haven't done it yet because the sleeve's still quite short, but I added, I think, 2 of those stripes. I think I was in the stockinette. I'd started the stockinette stripe last time. I added a new pattern, which sort of isn't very clear. It's a lot clearer in the pattern when I looked at it. And I knit another half a stripe of stockinette. So quite happy with how this is coming along. I maybe should try it on at some point just to see if the decreases I'm doing, to make sure they're not too fast so it doesn't get too small. Maybe I can stop decreasing at some point. Yeah. Any excuse to try on is seems like a good reason. So that was the other garment I'm knitting. Then on to shawls. I again did not pick up the Abloom shawl, but I continue knitting on the Goff's Place mystery knit along and the Stephen West mystery knit along. So with the Goff's Place mystery knit along by Kate Davies, I'm really ready to get to be done with this. It feels like I've been knitting on this for such a long time, and because we got 1 clue every month, it has been going on for a long time, and it's not a mystery anymore, so I don't think I have to warn you that I'm showing it to you. But I'm at clue 4, which consists out of 5 of these wedges. 4 of them are finished, and I've knit about half of the 5th wedge. So my stitch marker, which shows me where to turn for the short rows, is here. So now the rows are actually getting shorter, and I shouldn't take too long to finish the short rows for this. Oops. And this is such a big, huge, I'm not really sure this is actually a shawl. It's probably a small blanket. It's probably what Stephen West would call a schlanket, because it actually is a mix between a shawl and a blanket. So hoping to get as many of the short rows done as possible. I then cast off with an I-cord, and then I'm supposed to add more I-cords to the shawl. I will actually do some of them. I will definitely do some of them. I may not do all of them, but I'll decide that when I get there. Now that's that. Then on to the Go Dynamo Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West. Last week I showed you the 2 colors that I chose for my shawl. We only need 2 colors this year, a main color and a contrast color. And I chose those 2 colors, and you can see that the balls have shrunk quite a bit. I told you that most people called me crazy for using 2 colorful colorways like these, but I'm very happy that I was told by some of my viewers that they actually like my color choice. And actually most of the people who've seen the shawl told me that they quite like the shawl. They weren't happy with my with the yarns together, but the way they look once they're knit, they quite like them. And so last week I showed you, I'm showing it now. Last week I showed you the 3 half circles that we started with, and then there were those bits in between the half circles to connect them. And then once that was knit together in a long strip, we added some rows of stockinette stitch in the contrast color, and then with the main color there were 4 rows of garter stitch with these dip stitches, I think they are called, to create those bubbles, those round thingies. Really difficult to explain. Anyway, so that was clue 1, and then for clue 2 we could add some mohair if we wanted. So he said it was possible to use some mohair to go along with the contrast color, or we could use some mohair instead of the contrast color. And that's what I decided to do. So this is actually not hanging on my project, but I had this orange mohair yarn in my stash at home, and I thought that looked quite nice with this color or as this color, and I thought it was a nice contrast to my main color. And then Stephen West recommends to use 1 strand of yarn if you want to use it again in one of the other clues, but he uses a double strand of mohair silk yarn for his shawl, and I was a bit uneasy about using 1 strand of mohair with 1 strand of sock yarn weight in a 2 color brioche. So I decided to go for the double strand, and that's what's coming next into clue 2 is some 2 color brioche with all the stitches on top of this bubble motif. And then we are actually going to repeat this and then this and then this again for the clue 2. So in a way it's a fairly simple clue as for the technique. So it's just knitting all the stitches, doing some increases, but we're not changing direction or anything. We're not adding more parts. So I thought that was quite nice. It is actually a whole lot of knitting, because with the 3 half circles that we started with, and then the pieces that got added in between, very difficult to show. Maybe next week I'll put it on a longer cable again. But the long cables I find a bit difficult to knit with, so I put in a shorter cable. So yeah, as you can see, quite a few stitches. So the rows take quite some time. This is the front of the shawl, showing the main color as the knit stitches. And then the back of the shawl, you see the mohair as the knit stitch. So that looks really nice too. And with the reverse stockinette of the contrast color in the back, it's actually, the back is a lot more orange and the front is a lot more blue or turquoise. I really like that. Yeah, and I'm having so much fun with this mystery knit along this year. Really, really enjoying it. And even though I still have a lot of knitting still in front of me, I'm already curious to see how it goes on. I am pretty sure I won't, no, I'm absolutely sure I won't finish clue 2 until Thursday. That's when the next clue drops. Maybe I'll finish clue 2 until next week, but I'm not promising anything. Yeah, so that's, I'm not showing anything anymore, just in case you were looking away. That's the Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West this year. And that's actually the last project, except for my spiral granny square that we are crocheting together as a crochet along on this channel. I am still working on my Hundertwasser ball of yarn, but it is getting smaller, and I'm just adding rounds to my very colorful granny spiral square. And yeah, I'm enjoying the crocheting, but I'm also looking forward to finishing this ball. I'm pretty sure this won't be big enough once I finished that ball of yarn, so I'm already thinking of which color to use next. Yeah, but I don't know yet, so we'll see. I'll tell you next week. Maybe I'll tell you even if I haven't finished this one. Just for fun. Yeah, so that was a little quicker than usual, but that's okay. That was everything I knit and crocheted last week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!